Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to continue to put out these short articles because I think that they're easier to digest, and there's more than one thing that I'm tracking right now as far as shortages go, as far as things running out, and all those kinds of things. So I hope that you enjoy these shorter videos instead of me putting everything together and then having a 30 or 40 minute video, which is not as digestible as these shorter ones. So let's go ahead and talk about gasoline, especially going into the summer. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of gasoline. From what I understand, we have a lot of gas, more than what the demand is requiring, right? However, the problem that we're finding ourselves in is the transportation of that gasoline, not having enough truck drivers to go out there and transport the gasoline from point A to point B. Now, the implications of that, of course, are as this title right here says. Coming this summer, gas stations will be running out of gas. And it could be, however, I don't think it will be a major crisis. Is it always smart to have a few 5-gallon cans of gasoline stored away in a safe location? I think so, and that's what I do. What I do to prep for gas is very simple. And what I mean by gas is like gasoline for your vehicle. It's very simple. I keep enough 5-gallon gas cans to fill each of my vehicles at least one time. I always try to have at least a half to 3/4 tank full on my vehicles, and then I always keep enough 5-gallon cans in order to make sure that if gasoline becomes unavailable, I at least have a full tank available to put back into my truck or my vehicles. Alright, so let's go ahead and read this real quick. Millions of people stuck at home for more than a year are expected to hit the road for much needed post-health crisis vacations this summer. Good luck finding gas. I did hear, I think it was yesterday, I read somewhere that New York is going to fully open back up its economy on the 1st of July, I believe. Meaning that they're going to open everything 100%, which is really good. Not that there's a looming shortage of crude oil or gasoline. Rather, it's the tanker truck drivers needed to deliver the gas to stations who are in short supply. According to the National Tank Truck Carriers, the industry's trade group, somewhere between 20 and 25% of all tank trucks in the fleet are parked heading into this summer due to a paucity of qualified drivers. At this point in 2019, only 10% of trucks were sitting idle for that reason. We've been dealing with a driver issue for a while, but the health crisis took that issue and metastasized it, said Ryan Streblow, the executive vice president of the NTTC. And he continues to say, it certainly has grown exponentially. Indeed, drivers left the business a year ago when gasoline demand ground to a halt during the early health crisis related shutdowns. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things that I've talked about in the past also. Our leaders up there, the ones that are making the decisions on our behalf, it seems like they don't think about the second and third and even fourth order effects of the decisions that they make. See, so decisions that they made over a year ago to lock down the economy pretty much is coming back to bite us in areas that we probably didn't think about before. He continues to say that we were even hauling boxes for Amazon just to keep our drivers busy. A lot of drivers didn't want to do the safety protocols. We were also working with an aging workforce. Many said I might as well take it as a cue to retire. Not just any truck driver is allowed to drive a tanker truck. It requires special certification, including a commercial driver's license and weeks of training after being hired. And while the jobs are more attractive than some long-haul trucking jobs that can keep drivers away from home for days or weeks at a time, it is strenuous, difficult work. He says that in normal times, driver turnover can run around 50% on an annual basis. Wow, that's a lot. But that spiked to roughly 70% annual rate in April of last year. And many of the drivers who hired on at tanker carriers last spring when the health crisis first hit left the field relatively quick, sometimes taking jobs in industries such as construction, which has been booming over the last year. Tanker operators are raising pay to try to fill their drivers' seats and raising the rates they charge customers accordingly. I had to double my recruiting budget to get the same number of drivers. And here are the ripple effects. Jeff Leonard, spokesman at the National Association of Convenience Stores, said his members are very worried about what the driver shortage will mean for their deliveries, especially with demand for gas already back up to 97% of where it was this time in 2019. He said, I've talked to retailers. They say there could be places where there are brief outages. If they have no fuel, they have no business. And ladies and gentlemen, you know that people are not going to stop at a convenience store. Most people won't, to overpay for a sandwich if they don't have to get gasoline. Vacation hotspots are most at risk of shortages, and there were some sporadic outages reported in Florida, Arizona, and Northwest Missouri during the recent spring break period. But even if only a few stations run out of gas, that could spark a run on gasoline as drivers will start topping off their tanks to avoid running dry down the road. And he says, imagine the hoarding with toilet paper and topping off gas tanks that we see after hurricanes, and you can see what might happen. The problem is made worse by the strong demand for gas, he added, meaning that it's going to be a lot stronger demand during the summer. And it doesn't take much. Crowd behavior can provoke shortages, he said. Absolutely, herd mentality. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do, ladies and gentlemen? We are not of the herd mentality. We are preppers. We go out there and get these things well in advance of the crisis happening. The gasoline that I have stored is gasoline that I filled up those 5-gallon containers back in, I think, July or August or something like that. Maybe September, when it started getting a little chilly. I knew I had to rotate it. So, you know, that's what we do. And that's how we beat the hordes. That's how we stay away from panic buying, because we are prepped. I'll finish it off with, all of this could put pressure on gas prices, which typically rise at the start of the summer as seasonal regulations take effect, requiring more expensive summer blend of gasoline needed to combat smog. The national average price of regular gas already stands at an average of $2.89 a gallon, up more than 60% from a year ago, when prices and demand were bottoming out. Closer thinks the national average will flirt with $3 a gallon this summer and could top that level if any hurricanes hit the Gulf Coast or there are any other disruptions to supply, such as a refinery fire. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Pretty much, listen, in my opinion, if I did not have any gasoline stored away, I would go ahead and purchase a few containers and just have enough to fill up my vehicle one time, just in case, and always keep my vehicle as topped off as I can. For example, the other day I had to go to Costco. When I went to Costco, I noticed that my vehicle was at 3/4 tanks full. Well, I was already there, so I went ahead and filled it up. Even though it only took a few gallons, I went ahead and filled it up because I was already there. It can't hurt. And having a few cans in your residence, you know, wherever you live, that can't hurt either. There would be a problem if you lived in an apartment building or something like that, so you'd have to check into that. But the point is, try to stock up on some gasoline just to save for emergencies. I understand that most people, and including myself, can't have a 250, 300 gallon tank of gasoline on my property. I actually looked into it, and so far the cost basis for getting an actual certified tank that is made to hold gasoline and keep gasoline for a long time, it's really not worth it. If I was a millionaire, maybe, but not at these prices. Hope that you enjoy these shorter news videos that I put out. There's a lot of them coming out. I have another one that I'm going to work on that has to do with sugar, but I hope that you're getting something out of them. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I am out.